Hello Teggies, welcome to today's live stream. I'm Lex from Teggies Reviews and I'm thrilled that you are here with us. For those who are new, I'm Lex, and on this channel we dive into the world of web tech. We look into different kind of tools, also maybe some YouTube videos I saw that I found interesting, but also looking at all kinds of things. And today, the all kinds of thing that we are going to look at is called Clutch. It's a WordPress builder that I'm very excited about. It looks very interesting, so let's see if it can come even close with the expectation it has. But first, we're going to look at some other topics. For instance, I saw a video from Jonathan who shares an amazing video about website security and how he does that using Cloudflare. WordPress 3.8 6.8 should be there. Has been released, and that will be the only release for this year. So I'm very curious about that topic as well. And Advanced Themer had an amazing update. Hello, little brother. How are you doing? Coming in with the clutch. Yes, I know how to drive a clutch, so that's nice, right? So let's start off with the video from Jonathan and the video that he shared. In this video, he's going over the WAF settings, which actually is a wirefile setting that he uses to block certain bots or agents that it's not trustworthy. It's very nice to look at this video, and it helps you understand how you can create a safer space. Let's see. It's set on Windows, and he does a very well explanation why you should Cloudflare, how he uses Cloudflare, and how you can set up the the WAF settings, and I really like that. I've used it in the past as well. I had some issues with some kind of things. I don't recall which one, but setting it up is very easy. He goes over every things that you can set up in the WAF files and what it does, and he also talks a little bit about why. So it's a very recommended video if you are using Cloudflare. Now, if you don't know what Cloudflare is, it's a platform that allows you to have your domain name there and does some security optimizations. For instance, attacks like DDoS and that sort of things. It allows you to manage the DNS and also other things. So I can highly recommend this video if you want to get more into the security and how to optimize it using Cloudflare. Now, the other thing that I really wanted to talk about today is about the release from Advanced Themer. Advanced Themer, as you know, is a plugin that is built specifically for Bricks Builder. And what it added this week is the predefined CSS variables. It is made with some experts in the field, so it allows you to just hit toggle on, and all these settings, all these variables will be added instantly. Hey there, Jimmy, how are you doing? And what I really liked about it is that it can be used very easily, and that you don't need another plugin to access and maintain and set up your basic global CSS variables. Usually we use something like Core Framework or ACSS, and with ATCSS, or ATF as he calls it himself, this will have it all in one place, and it's really, really nice to have. I'm sorry, a little bit of coffee. But a nice sip of tea will help out. Another thing, this week 6.8 has been released, and it will be, and it's showing continued progression on the next major release. And the key highlights that they have mentioned, and I read this in the wpdigest.io, is that there's performance improvements. they're coming to the interactivity API, which should make dynamic blocks a little bit snappier. Other key highlights are the bcrypt password hashing, which makes it a little bit safer, talking about security. And there are talks about potentially slowing down the major WordPress releases. I mean, Wallenmag has said several times that in 2027, the focus is on stability. This could mean that there will not be as much of an update coming. And it's very interesting to see what this means for WordPress in the long term. If you ask me specifically, I don't think it matters that much. The amount of updates that are coming is good enough. And still a lot of progression will be made, I guess. As long as we take into account that the security updates needs to be done. So it needs to be safe to use the platform. If that's not the case, then I think open source will be very very hard to understand if it has a life in the future, or the closed source things will be better. Another thing that happened, Sure Triggers, it's a tool that I use as well for my website, has been rebranded to AutoKit. And AutoKit lets you create flows within your WordPress website and automate certain things. The main emphasis and the change that they did from Sure Triggers to this version is that it is more AI powered, but also as you see right here, right? And letting AI agents do your borrowing tasks. If you haven't used AI yet, I really highly recommend to look at something to see how you can integrate it. This evening, there was a talk show called Eva Jinek. It's a Dutch talk show, and there was an expert on AI. And he built a tiny AI marketing agency. And it was very awesome to see how this works. And they come up with a plan on how to market a book. And they were just AI agents talking to each other and seeing what kind of steps needs to be taken. And within 10 minutes, there was a plan ready to be used. Even with some assets. Now, they aren't perfect, but it's really nice to see what we can do right now. And I think this is also a way of showing what can be done with the tools that we have right now and with the AI that we have right now. So if you haven't already, try to figure out how to use AI agents or AI in your business. It's really some recommendation I can give. Lastly, there are some critical security updates that need to be done for popular plugins. There were some vulnerabilities found in plugins like all-in-one WP migration, which will affect 5 million sites, and there are, and that is one of the biggest one. So if you haven't already, always try to keep your plugins up to date. And if you don't know how, I see that in the tab bar, WP Umbrella is being used to do those kinds of things, to keep things updated. And they also do some kind of regression testing so that you can see that there are changes, and if the changes are there when the update is done, then you can fall back to a previous version. Also, a very exciting thing, if you're using Elementor, ZipWP now supports Elementor. And if we're going to look at their website, I hope that there's some kind of place where we can see that. Apparently not. But ZipWP has now added the ability to create a website using Elementor. You can select Elementor during the initial setup. So if you sign up and then log in, and it's currently in beta. There are more Elementor templates planned. If I remember correctly, 2 of them are now used. But if you want a quick AI website created by something like ZipWP, that can be done right now. And the pricings are actually pretty good if you ask me. $79 for one-time usage. And you can do 5 AI site generations. So you can create 5 AI sites if you just want to get started and hit around running. Then that would be a very useful thing. Now that we have talked about a little bit of the updates that are here in the WordPress space, I want to look at Clutch.io. I'm really excited about that one. So this is Clutch.io. It's a next generation visual builder for WordPress, and it gives professional creators complete design and functionality freedom while delivering superior performance with fewer plugins. I'm really curious if that's the case. Well, let's find out, right? We don't know if it's that or not. So when you hit first, let's look at the homepage, right? Here you have the interface. It looks like a different kind of interface, right? We don't see the WordPress kind of things. We have some pages right here. And this feels similar to Figma, to be fair. And then we have our settings on the right side. We have responsiveness, and we can change our browser location, I guess. It's the most expressive visual builder with hundreds of styling options. I don't know if more is better always, but it looks like most of the important things are there, like the classes, right? You have grid children and that sort of things. We can change responsive size. Luckily, they have reusable classes and not classes that you can only use once. I don't know how that would look, by the way. Then you have style states, custom CSS, and that sort of things, and a lot of base elements, and you can try them live. Look at that. We can accept turns, open up a dialog, so there's a nice little demo that can help us out, and there are already available elements, it looks like, but we don't want to look at that right now. And it looks like it's the most powerful builder, because if you compare them with the other page builder, I can only guess what this will do. It will go to page speed, as I thought, and then you can compare it. Well, everybody with a little bit right mind knows that this doesn't tell the whole story, but fine that they do it like that. Server-sided rendering, prefetching scripts, and you can harness power. You can add in dynamic data, fetch from any API. That sounds nice. Powerful forms without plugins, so you can connect up Zapier, Google Sheets very soon, and that's why we use plugins. And you can post to anything you want. It's compatible with essential plugins like ACF, Joost, and WPML. So no SEO press that I'm using, Jet Engine, that sort of things. And we can extend it with code. This is nice that you can change it. This looks like React TSX, right? That can be changed. All right, let's get this puppy off the ground and let's get started. Let's view the download. We have to download something on the desktop. So it's not your typical, what's it called? It's not your typical plugin that you just install on your website. I see that there's also a Clutch plugin. Let's download that one as well, that we have both. And we wait on that one to finish. Luckily, I have started to Clutch test taggies. Let's make it a very long name. And let's create. Let's see if this one doesn't exist. And there we have the files, and let's open and install Clutch. Of course, you get a warning that you're downloading and trying to install something that the PC doesn't start. To circumvent that, you can either accept it or you can run a Windows Sandbox, which is a computer within your computer, so that you know that you're safe. So we can open that one up. We drag in Clutch. I think we have to download it right here. That's fine as well. So Sandbox means that you are just playing with it just like in a sandbox and trying things out. And if something goes wrong, it doesn't matter. You close your sandbox and everything's good. Let's see this one. I don't want that one anymore. Let's remove it and let's open the sandbox. As you see, pretty fast internet, luckily. And let's make this bigger. Yeah, it's not trust. We don't trust it. Even Chrome says we don't trust it. We keep it. Keep anyway. And then we can open it up. Very curious how this will look. Dark mode 10 of 10. For sure. Dark mode. I'm Batman. Let's see. How are you doing, buddy? Are you doing fine? Come on. Well, in the meantime, we can also see if we can install the WP kind of thing. We can press magic login and then we can log in and then we can install the Clutch plugin because we need less plugins, not more, right? So I'm curious how much less or more we need. I see that we get a message here, 6.8, when we were just talking about it. Let's see in a bit what happens if we press update. Maybe not for now first, that we can see if this is working. And activate plugin. And in here, where are you? Clutch. It's so clutch that it doesn't work. As you can see, this is really the first look. So when I say first look in my live streams, it's really the first look. I've never looked at it. I've never even tried it out. And I want to do it in a very nice environment, I hope. Let's see, we also have VMware installed, if I remember correctly. VMware Workstation, so we can also try to fire that one up. Because it looks like it doesn't want to be installed or something. Clutch. Oh, it is installed. I just couldn't find it. The first look live, yes. So anything that I will face, you will face as well. I guess. Perhaps, maybe. Let's see. Come on, clutchy, clutchy, clutch. Ah, there we go. I was wondering when it will pop up. We need to sign in and register with your browser. Let's do that. Let's switch my screen for a bit because I don't want you to see my credentials. Now, I hope you understand that. And if you don't, then I'm sorry, but you don't get to see them. Let's go there, gmail.com, and then we switch to that one, and then we're going to copy and paste this one. I hope that we can paste it in like this. Else we need to find another way. And yeah, looks like it's working. There we go. And let's continue. And I don't want to save it for now. It's installing. Yeah. And there we go. We have our first workspace, it looks like. So we need to create a workspace. Let's type in Teggy's reviews. Hit next. What is your code skill? It scares me. I'm 37 past 1. I can do anything with it. Oh, yeah, nice. What's the primary backend you plan to use with Clutch? WordPress in this case. Well, as you can see, you can also use different kind of options. So you can select what kind of backend you want to use. So WordPress, WooCommerce, Superbase, Strapey, I don't know, is that how you pronounce it? Sanity, Ghost, and Contentful. We'll select WordPress for this now. What features are most interesting to you? Email is very interesting, and search is interesting. 3D and animation for sure. And I guess we can select more. Next. And here we have an overview of our Clutch dashboard. I am logged in. We see that we can become a partner and we get free support and early access to new features. So that looks promising. And we have an early adopter LTD. So we can pay now, and we pay once $2.99. As an early adopter, you can grab the lifetime on Pro plan at a discounted price for a short time. And this is interesting. So you can get a version of this one for $2.99 if you like to. Now we can start off a new project, and this is a web project, and we can say that we can start from this one, I guess. And you have a marketplace where you can start as well. So here we can select different kind of libraries where we want to start with. For instance, the Never Gonna Give You Up guy, or the Lightbox, but let's just start with WordPress, and we hit create project. This will wants to allow things. Bun is something that you can run. It's fetching project metadata, project files, so it's already doing some things. Would be nice if this is front and center, or some kind of onboarding is done that we can see it very well. Resolving log file. All right. I'm curious what it does. It's resolving a log file, so it's trying to hack my system. Haha, got you there, because this is a sandbox. You can't try to do that. Yeah, you can try, but you can't. You would not succeed. You will not succeed. So in the meantime, I see that I have a alert that somebody has logged in. InstaWP has some things. I got some email from Neil. Tintin Smith, by the way, very great guy for your email if you want to get to know more about YouTube. There's really great newsletter that you can follow, and he has a lot of tips in there. Also, I'm using something called Typing Mind, and Typing Mind is a ChatGPT alternative, but you bring your own key. It's really awesome, actually. I need to try the image creation part of it. I'm very curious how that will work. With that being said, let's see if things are running. We need to allow Node as well. And there we are. We are inside our Clutch thingy. And we can connect a WordPress site. And we can insert certain things. We have classes, tokens. We can open up the code editor. I don't know which one it will open because I haven't installed any. And we have some settings. For instance, our Google fonts. We can add Google fonts. Let's install Jakarta Plus. And it will do some commands. And that does nothing. But here we see our our font being installed and ready to use. You can select which versions you want to use, and if you only want normal or italics. So that's really nice. Here we have different kind of libraries. For instance, the Elements video, and these are the libraries that we saw earlier. We have marketing templates, fix hero previews. That looks like fun. Iconair React library for Iconair, the biggest open source icon library. That's nice. So I guess those are installed by default, and we can add other libraries as well using npm install. If you are a developer, then you know what it is. Here we have all our files that we can use. So for in this case, that will be our images. We can open code editor, but I haven't installed any. We can see our tokens that we can use. I guess tokens would be variables in this case. So we create a token. For instance, we add a space and we add a normal space. And in the live mode, the spacing would be rem. And I want it to be 1 rem. The normal spacing, and then we can add another token. It would be nice that this would be a little bit faster instead of doing this and then clicking space 2. This is space L, and for L we are going to use 1.5 rem. And as you can see, you can type it in and then the drop down will be ignored, but we can also reset it. 1.5. I also see a green icon. And here we can see existing tokens, so that's nice. And this is rem. I already set it to rem. 1.5 millimeters. That's a little bit short. Rem. There we go. And here we can set up different kind of tokens. And here we have the default classes that are used. So the H1 should have these classes, clutch elements, functions, Google Analytics classes, Google Maps, marketing templates. There are a lot of classes already there. I don't know if I want them all to be there. Now let's see how we can add something to the screen. So we want to start off with a row. Now we have a row, but I don't know if I see the row. Where is the row? Can we add a class of hero? And when we press enter, it will create a class, so that's nice. Assuming that this is local styling and this is the class styling. Row your boat. Let's see, can I zoom in a little? I'm sorry, I cannot zoom in, so this will be the best version that you can see right now. And now we have to look for the background. We have the image or gradient layers. We can also select a color. And perhaps we need to have a size. We do have position first. We want to display block. Or maybe flex even. Flex direction from left to right. And then I want to have the width and height. So we can set a height of 100 VH and a width of 100 view width. But still I don't see my row. Where is my row? Blank layout. Can we add in a blank layout? I feel a little bit dumb that I can't figure out what's happening right here. I'm assuming that I don't need to add something else. We can add different pages, so that's good. Here we have home selected. Now I want to select this one. But when I press it, it doesn't do anything. This one turns blue when I click it, and this one doesn't do anything. About, and it still says page. We have home and we have row. Can we drag in row in home? If I select row home, can I select? I feel really silly because it should be easier than this, right? How can we do this? How does this work? We don't have any React or queries for this. No, that's true. WordPress libraries, we can do some kind of queries, and these are the queries that are available. So that's nice. We can have clutch elements. All right, let's see what happens when we select a clutch element. All right, we want a drop-down menu. It does something. I will give you that. But I don't see anything reflected here. Am I just not understanding how this works? Navbar. 4 stars has been adding. Great. Refresh. Thanks Jespero 1981. Even when I do a refresh, it doesn't seem to. These seem to be deactivated, right? If you agree. But refresh doesn't seem like it does anything. Do we need a save? We can publish it as a template, as a hosting for staging. That's nice. And as a library, we can manage different kind of destinations. So that's nice. But I don't understand how this works. If we add a component, let's call it a card component. And inside the card component, do I need to open it up or something? Doesn't look like that. I want a blank layout. It doesn't look like it's working at all. Did I already broke it? So we can't do this. Let's see. Right. When it's not working, try to close it, and that's it. I'm not going to do this again. I guess there's some things in Clutch that needs to be done to get it working. I really want to get it working, but I can't figure it out in 20 minutes how to use this. It's I don't know what I need to do to make this work. This should work right out of the box, right? When you try to install it and then try to use it, I would expect it to be easier than this, but I even cannot get it to work very easily. Now we can take a look at the videos that they have. Let's see, because maybe I'm missing something. And we can also look at the docs, of course. We can download it. Let me know if everything is working. Something happened. I don't know what happened. Is everything working again? I don't know what the frick happened, but looks like something happened. I guess so. If we see this in a few seconds, now it's working. I don't know if it was mine. I don't know either. I guess something happened here, so hopefully it will be fine right now. Let's install Clutch again, and there we go. And let's take a look at the and take a moment to see how we can do this. Right, we can create a project. Installation has failed, so we can open it up again and see what happens. You seem to have lagged out, then came back. Now you're back. Thanks, Dave. Clutch taking over the Wi-Fi. I guess so. My Wi-Fi comes in Clutch. We're going to do a lot of Clutch jokes in the upcoming minutes, I guess. This is the most common way to use for projects. You can also use projects and libraries. We can create a new project, call a project name, select WordPress template as your project template, and create it. Now, we did at least do that. Here's how everything is working. So we have our app bar, we have our properties panel, canvas, and navigator. We have our composition. Yeah, we could figure out that one. We have our app bar. This is the library, WordPress plugin, and the publish button. And we do have a library, project settings. I need to sign in again. So I'm going to change to my screen so that you don't see my login credentials. Let's see. Let's open up Gmail again and see how this works. And we can open up Keeper. Let's do it like this. Next. And we need to verify that we're using the right one. Hello, Dave. How are you doing this fine evening? Nice of you to join. And suddenly there's a new version. Look at that. We're verifying and there's a new version available. Let's first verify before we install the new version. Not now. Open a desktop app. Open. And now we should be logged in. And we can continue on working on our project. And we need to allow again, because it wants access to our whole computer. I want to take over your computer, Lex. That's what it's actually saying. No, I'm kidding. Let's see. We have a tour of the interface. Navigator. We could figure that one out. The Academy is coming soon. Do we need to connect to WordPress first before it works? We need to install it and then we can run our website. So let's try it out in a bit, right? It wasn't clear from the thingy. Oh, damn. Let's copy this one. Copy. Menu location, main and footer. Sounds about right. It's still trying to resolve. Enter the root URL of your WordPress backend, for example, and do not include WP admin. Hit connect. If the connection is successful, the indicator above the WordPress icon will turn green. Yes, you can install Node, that's fine. And here we are again. So we're going to delete the layout. And now, as we can see, our canvas is white. So does that mean that it works this time around? Oh, and it crashes. I guess they have figured out which person I am. And they see my live stream and are like, no, you're not going to do all of these kinds of things, buddy boy. We're going to take over your system. Allow. Look at all these command lines suddenly being opened. What the hell's going on? I think it's trying to crash my sandbox. Poor little sandbox. About Brixforge yesterday, then found out, well, at the end, that there was a bug. There was a hotfix. Yeah, I had it as well with GreenShift, to be fair. And with GreenShift, I had it a lot of times. One of my frustrations, by the way. And it happens, right? It needs to be hotfixed, and then I heard you like a command line in your command line. Oh boy, best way to start the stream, crash. Yeah. Well, we're already in 40 minutes, Dave, so it's not starting anymore. I do like that I look like a professional developer with opening up a lot of terminals or command lines, or you know, how do you call it? And it looks really nice. Look at this, stacking and stacking and stacking. And it's still compiling files. I don't know what the hell it's doing. And there we go. Again, we have our canvas. Now, let's see what we can do. Whoa, there we go. We have our red. We finally have a rose. And this one has been removed, so we can delete that one, I hope. Yes. And we have our... Suddenly it does work. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's because of the update that they found out that something didn't work, and now it does work. But it's nice. We have something to work with. Thank you, Clutch. You came in, Clutch. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. Here we have our structure panel on the left-hand side. I do like how they minimize the amount of things needed. You have your structure right here. You have your sitemap right here. You have the elements that you can add. These are the basic elements that you need and use all the time, actually, right? And then you have your settings on the right-hand side. So this looks pretty nice. And if we can remove that one, yes, that's also be removable. And then we can select anything within the wrapper and make changes. I'm assuming that we can double click it and say, hello, thanks Clutch for saving the stream. Yes, thank you very much, Clutch. Say that a few times, much Clutch. They were probably watching your stream, I guess so as well. I'm becoming a popular YouTube guy for live streams. Woohoo! Building websites and breaking stuff. We can do a lot of changing, so that's nice as well. And we can see that we have two states that we can set. We have a current state and a visitor state. And here are all the states that they have added. So we have the focus, active. That's really nice to have these kind of states already available. This is just a beta version, so I'm actually fairly impressed. And we can switch to dark mode, as you can see. And then all the browser turns dark. Right, let's try it out again. We add in a row. We don't want it to be in our... There, we want it to be in here. And inside of a row... So the row doesn't have anything. Does it have settings? So what does a row have? We have display as flex. And then left to right, and then normal. It would be nice because we need to have two other elements in there as well. No sections available, queries. So we have columns and rows. Now what I'm missing right now is the ability to add a div, because this one is also a row, but I want it to be display block. And then it will be a block. We can press Ctrl D to duplicate. We can add in our text and another text. And if we select the first text, can we change the tag? Yes, we can. We can find it right here. We change it to H1. Look at how easy this is. And it looks pretty solid if you ask me. I like the interface. I think for Dave it's a little bit dim because of the contrast between the dark areas and the light areas. So reading this, it's not hard, but I think it can be improved visually to be easier to understand. I also saw somewhere that you can have, look at this, some kind of explanation on what you're adjusting. I mean, this is proper educating people how this works. So you can click any element and it will explain what it does. For instance, this one says padding. The padding CSS property sets the padding area to all four sides of an element. It's a shorthand for setting all individual paddings at once. Padding top, right, bottom, and left. But doesn't explain what padding does. Padding is the spacing that goes inside of the element. So that will be a nice adjustment to explain as well what will happen. And when you do this, we can add an image, and as we don't have any thing in there, we don't have a source, we have a custom placeholder that we can use, and we can select anything from our document. So we can browse inside of our own PC to see what's available there. So I'm assuming if we go to Unsplash, let's go, keep the sandbox open and let's go to Unsplash. Unsplash.com, a website where you can use some of the images royalty free. Do know that most of the images that are on Unsplash are reused everywhere on the website, so don't expect them to be unique. We can download this one. There we have something, and we can select it from the downloads. Look at that. Without any changes, we have added the image without us needing to upload these kinds of things. So that's really helpful. And we can change the size, I'm hoping. Yeah, we have a width and a height right here. So if we say, all right, this block needs to be 50% or 50 view width, maximum 50 view width, we can just type it in and does that automatically. That's nice. We can type it in here as well. This really feels like a solid tool, to be fair. It feels quite nice to be used. We do have some kind of spacings that we can use, and here there are some custom spacings. I don't know if I ever set this up, so I don't know where these tokens come from. Just like these classes, they are set by default, but I want to have control over the classes that are set. So it would be nice that we can have some kind of overview where this is used and also where we can adjust it. Because we see a lot of tokens being right here and we didn't set it at all. We can also add code, so that's nice that we can do some kind of calc. I imagine that we can also type it in directly right here. Look at that, that looks easy. We can set it horizontal, vertical, and this one is very tight. Luckily, we can change the panel size a little bit if needed. That P is huge. That's what she said. And we can select this block and that block. And both of them have a max size of 50 view width. And I also want this to be at least 50% view width as well. Then we can set the alignment. So let's align everything within the block. We can set it to flex again. And instead of from left to right, we can set it to center. We want to align in the center and justify the content in the center. It's not the most prettiest hero section, but it's something. P is slang for pretty. Like V is slang for very. VP. I am the VP. Nice. It's much Dutch clutch. I'm sorry, guys. My brain just went there. This looks nice. We can add the classes in here and we see what kind of things are set. We can right click for options. And I imagine that we can also do other kinds of things if we want to inside of here. Can we also do some changes to the text itself? Highlight. Now I'm going to see if we can go to the edge. So we can set it to code. We can't do any highlighting or any span. Sometimes a word within a sentence is highlighted, and then we can add a span like this and maybe highlight orange, something like this, to make it the highlight text a different color. This can be done with Bricks, but Elementor doesn't have it. If you're only if you want to write it yourself, you just called yourself very pretty. Yes, I know. The slang, the slang, nice. Thanks, bro. Here we can change gaps. Although I set this to spacing, I see that it's still available everywhere. So I wonder if the update has changed some things. Because if we want to add a token, we want to add a space, we have another spacing. And these are global tokens, but they can't be used everywhere, as we can see. Here we have the spacing, but I set it up as a spacing only token. I do like that there are some preset spacings. I don't like that I don't have control over them, how they are named, because I want different names. Like, I don't like 0_5 or 1_5. I want to control the sizes that are used as well. But whatever the case, let's pick something, and there we go. We have a nice looking page, or we are getting there. If we want this to be a item link, let's call it menu link, or menu item. It's even better, right? Menu item, and we want it to be a different color. So we go in here, we select a color. We want the color of, not the background color. We can select it, and then we see what is set. That is nice. And we can clear the value. And we want not the background, not the border, not the effects. Here we have the font typography color. Sometimes you miss things that are right in front of you. Then we can set it like that. And now you see the advantage of using classes, because we can now select it again. And there we go. They're both red. And then we can select it again. Menu_item. And that's another one that's red. That looks awesome. And now the beauty and the full power of using classes. When we change the color, it changes there as well. Wow, look at that. Awesome. I also see that we have specific sizes that we can use. These are instance styles, so it's nice that it is called instance. And we have the H1 style, and when it's first child, it doesn't have the margin top, so it's a very nice starting point. Typography sizing, leading none, tracking tight. Ooh. This has different spacings. If we go here and we want to select the one. All right, my brain doesn't get this. Why does it have tracking spacing? And these have these spacings, but also the other spacings. And with text wrap, we have spin. Where do the colors come from, and why are they available in the text wrap? What's happening? These look like tailwind colors, by the way. Is it based on tailwind? Could be, right? But then where are the classes? Can we use Vercel or whatever? What's the name of the interface? We can add a border around this one. Some nice text to go with the highlight text and heading. And afterwards, I want to also add a button. Let's call it a button. Can we select those two together and group them or something? Put them in the box. We can't. We can select here and wrap in. We can wrap them in the box and put them in the box there. I think that's not very nice. So we can increase the gap just by a tiny bit. We have all our settings. Let's see, where's gap? We have flex child. We have block. But because it's a block, we need to set it to this one, set it downwards, and then set the spacing to be large, like 2em. And then we create a button. Let's do it the way that I don't recommend. let's set it to display. And as you can see, it's a local instance, and we are changing local instances. And you see that the icon changes directly. So we can set it to display block, and it will view that we are using that setting. We scroll down a little bit. Let's make this a black background. And for the color of the text, we'll make it white. There we go. The word wrap, the white space, text spacing. It was spacing, right? I guess so. I really do like that you can press it and then you have some explanation on it. It's really nice. Now, if the explanation is really valuable for people that are new to this, I'm wondering. But I like that they put in the effort to add that in there. We can add a radii, or is it radiuses? I don't know. What do you think? And I want to add a little bit of spacing. So we have these kinds of, look at that. We see directly see where things are set. We can set up the spacing. And what I like to do is have two types of spacing, one for the horizontal and one for the vertical. So let's add the spacing. I'm adding it to the button, right? To the button text. So we were making layout changes to the button text. Well, that doesn't make sense. Can we just right click and then clear styles? There we go. And then click this one. And then we can make changes to this directly. I saw that we can select this one, but if we do, we make changes for all of them at once. And that's something that I don't like. Unlink. Can we do something like 2rem? No, it doesn't work like, it looks like you can write it down like in normal CSS, that you can type in 2rem and then space and then 2rem again. Although it says that you are changing the values of the padding top, left, right, and bottom. So that's a little bit confusing. We can, however, click these icons and we can add them in. So for the top and bottom, I like to have 1/2 EM. I need to write it the good way. There we go. For the right and left, I want them to feel more area. So I usually use a bigger value and a 1.5 EM, WPM, and then 2 EM. Then we can add a background of black, because I want this to be dark version. And the typography, we can make those changes to the color white. And there we go. And I think these can be set smaller. So we can set it to 1, 1.5. Oh, what did we do? We suddenly added a heading inside of our button. It's not that you can add anything in there, but I want to go over my settings and change them. And here we have a nice and simple button that we set up. We can select the text inside, and we can also select the outer edge of the button, and we can then also make changes to our border. So let's make those changes still, and we can see that we can do all kinds of things in there. But I don't see my radii settings. Maybe I didn't set up. I see a lot of options that I haven't set up. So I'm a little bit confused about that one. But no worries. And we can set it to 1 EM. What happened right there? Ah, it's the setting the border. That's not something that I wanted. We can click it and clear state. So that's really nice. It looks really nice that you can do that. We can set it 1/2 EM. Now we have a nice rounded button, but accidentally didn't create a class. It happens, right? But luckily we can create a class right here. And there we go. We have now created a link class, and here we have our settings. Right click to see more options. What kind of options can we still see? I don't know. And we can say a button, and then primary. And now we have a button primary. And if we want to add another link, I am assuming we can put a link inside of a link. Yo, dog, I heard you like links, so you get a link inside of your link. So you can link while you link. Anybody know what that meme was? And look at that, we can add classes even. I really do like the interface. And it feels very easy to use. I like that there are some indications that are settings set. We can add custom styles or CSS properties that are not available directly here. We can also add nice effects. So let's see what's in there. Box shadow, cursor, opacity, we can transform them, we can filter them. So these are optional settings. So all the basic settings are readily available. But if you are just like me and want a little bit more power, we can add that right here. I don't see animation settings or effects right here, but that's fine. Linkception. Also, bro, can you show me what it does when on mobile? Yeah, for sure. So this is what happens on mobile. It isn't automatically in a very good way, of course. So we need to make some changes. What you can do is select a column, and I'm assuming that we can change the state from going to left to right, for top to bottom, and for a row as well. On mobile, we want this to be at the bottom and centered. Now, if we go to the desktop version, it also looks like that. So it looks like we need to select the state. All right, that's very good to know. So we go back to left to right, then we select our responsiveness, and then we select our state first, that we want to a different thing there. And then we can change the row. And if we go back, there we go, responsive state, and we can set the different states as well for it. So this looks very nice. When you're finished trying all the builders, I think I'd be interested to make a conclusion video about what you think of all the different builders you've tried lately. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. I think so as well, by the way. But if you want me to do all the builders, there's just too many of them. I mean, just in a WordPress page, we still have Cadence, we have Spectrum 1, we have Nexter blocks, we have A blocks, we have Elementor still, of course. We can also visit Wix, we can also visit Framer, we can also visit Squarespace. So I don't know if I have time to test them all out. Those were 8 just out the top of my head. That means that by the end of the year, I would have tried them all. And I can guarantee that I don't know the ones that I have used in the first time that I did this during the live stream. I know, Jimmy. I'm of course kidding. I know what you're saying, and I'm just trying them out. And I think it would be fair to make a conclusion from all the builders that I've used until now, and which one I would favor. And I must say, this one is on the top of my list of a page builder that I would like to use. And the reason is very simple, because we are not dependent on solely using WordPress, if I'm not mistaken. We can look at that. The preview has just changed in the version that we have created. But if we create a new one, test. I don't know if we can make it work for not only what's called free project from this one. It does everything for us, so it's a local development system. It makes me feel two kind of things, actually. Yeah, footage though. Yeah, for sure. Need to download them, by the way. Yeah, maybe I should do some ranking of the page builds that I've done right now. Ooh, I just had a great idea. I need to think of a challenge, and maybe you can help me out as well. What kind of things should we build inside of the page builders, and then how much time it costs to page them, and then rank them on some kind of board to see how good or how bad it went, and then I can use them as a reference. That would be fun. I had in mind like the Top Gear kind of thing, but I guess we need more people during the live stream for that one. So Jimmy, if you love to join in the challenge, and let's check out this builder and try to destroy it, or anybody else who is seeing this live stream also afterwards, let me know if you want to join. Just think about it. I think it's a great idea. Nice. The problem with the idea is that you know some very well and others you need to search for every setting. And that's fine. We can do a dry test run for 5 minutes, and then you need to build something. It's just for showing the tool, and it's not about how fast it really is. And that's the same thing with Top Gear. I don't know if you have heard about it, but they do the same kind of thing. And we crashed it again. It's now trying to send data, I guess. Oh, look at that. More and more command lines. But thank you, Sasha, for stating that problem with the idea. If you have a better idea, please do let me know. All right. Now I'm very curious, because this is WordPress focused, right? What happens if we put this live? So we can press the WordPress icon. We have a nice connection guide, which I'm not going to read, because that's the kind of person that I am. And we can copy this one, paste it in right here, and hit connect. Let's see what happens. We see that the plugin is installed. We have a local cache, clear, and it is connected. What does it do right here? So I don't need to set up any credentials, verify that this is the right website. All right, I want to publish. Publish project template, never published. I want to publish this to hosting as a staging site or as a library. I don't know. I just want to publish it to my website. Create page destination. Select destination marketplace, clutch hosting, npm. No. Cancel. Yes, leave. Oh, there's comments. True. You all ask me to use Oxygen and I'll be super slow. Let me use Oxygen. I'm super slow during this live stream. You see how many troubles I had with just trying to add things in Clutch. By the way, Dave, you didn't. But look at the first part of this live stream and you will see. So it's connected. How do I publish? I'm just going to press this button and let's see what happens. Revision 1. So we have revisions. We have a nice bun command line popping up. And there's some publishing happening. And it's publishing to Clutch. Why do I need to connect my WordPress site if this is publishing to Clutch? I don't understand this. Publish together link. I have WordPress right here. I've added it. I'm connected. Click to connect. Next steps. With your backend via the plugin, you can connect WordPress data to components. You can write. extending Clutch. We can develop things there. This is the development SDK. If you want to make something, we have nice libraries. WordPress is a library. I'm very curious how this works. So we can connect up WordPress, but only to fetch data, I guess, right? And now it's publishing to their own domain, I'm assuming. It looks like it is stuck a bit. Does that mean we can't host this on our own server? We can change the publish destinations. Yeah, it's a visual builder. I wonder what their ID is. Powered by a modern tech stack. High performance. With the full access to your code base, you can extend Clutch by adding new components using standard React. I guess, being separate from the front end from WordPress, this is actually a visual builder for your React website. And if that's the case, that's really awesome, if you ask me. Because then you can run this on anything and anywhere. It looks like it's still... Oh, damn it. See ya, CloudSec. And thank you for joining. Yeah, integration really nice in Clutch. Way over in my head, but insane what you can do. I watch live stream in Discord. All right. So, yeah. I guess this is Clutch for us right now, and nothing more can be done. I'm actually very excited for this one. This looks very awesome. We can schedule a free onboarding session. Maybe we can invite the guys to a live stream to explain a little bit the idea behind it and how we can use it. It would be nice. But whatever the case, I think I'm also going to head out because, yeah, we took a look at Clutch. And I'm very curious, what do you think of Clutch? Seeing me struggle a little bit with Clutch itself, it's still a better version. You can feel it in the way that the applications on the shuts down or does multiple command lines. I do like the interface. I do like how you can use it. It feels very similar to, like, for instance, Webflow. You have a nice structure where you can manage pages, where you can manage the structure itself, where you have rows and that sort of things. I don't understand how the publishing kind of thing work, but from the page builder, perspective, you have everything you actually need. What we didn't try yet, and apparently something happened, is the component side of it. So I'm very curious if we can and how we can use it. So let's go back to our site right here. And as we can see, something happened that we can't see it. Maybe we need to close it. No, I don't want to close my sandbox. Because there's still one thing that I'm very curious about, and that's about the components kind of thing, of course. How do components work? I don't know. Let's find out. Clutch, Clutch, Clutch. And let's also join the community of Clutch at some point. Clutch.io. Oh, let's see. Did I add a... Yes, I did add a short link. If you want to check out Clutch, by the way, there's a link in the chats. I just put it there. Let's see the sandbox. It isn't turning on Clutch anymore. So the one disadvantage of this, thank you for joining, Jimmy, and have a nice evening as well. One thing that I'm afraid of using Clutch for is because of it's all locally done. And I am curious what will happen if we close it on one side and open up in another one. And I dislike in the current time that we have the ability to only publish to the server of their choosing instead of the server that we want to use. I can see this being just in the beta and in the future improve. Clutch doesn't open right now. And to be fair, I'm also done for this evening. I want to thank you all for watching, especially if you were active in the chats. So thank you, Sasha, little brother, Jimmy, Dave, of course, Dave as well, Dave Williams, and Jespero. I thank you all for watching, and hopefully this gave you some insights on what Clutch is and how you can use it yourself. And if you feel like it's something that you would like to use, if you want me to look at another builder, please let me know in the comments down below. And like always, thank you for watching and keep designing.